Here we exist. In a moment that no one else has ever experienced. So I sit here and I think about what makes us human and how consciousness is a hellhole that causes me to question everything. And as I stare into the faceless mirror of the future, in a state of undenying fear over what's to come, not knowing whether it is better to live or to die, it's a crisis. An existential one. And this is our coming of age story. This is my coming of age story. I'm Rosa, and I'm 17. An age that, in movies at least, exists as this romanticized dream where you can stay up all night and find your purpose and have all of this freedom. When I was younger, there was nothing more that I wanted than to be older. I wished I was 17. And now, I just wish I could feel sensations the way it felt back then. And for it to not exist in the back of my head as like a half memory, hazy nothing. And I know what you're asking. Why? Why did I make this documentary? Well, this documentary was born through unanswerable questions. The questions that everyone comes to ask at some point. Who am I? Why do we exist? What's my meaning? What happens to me when I die? I felt like no one was feeling and thinking the things I was feeling. To the point that I barely felt real anymore. And I felt alone. And I knew that no one had the answers. And that made the future look bleak and hopeless. And I knew I wanted to continue my life, but I didn't know how. I was stuck in a constant cycle of questioning. Happiness felt fleeting and the lack of answers was intoxicating. So I did the only thing I knew I was good at. I made art. I made something that I wish I had seen when I was struggling. I made something for people who were experiencing what I was experiencing. Because it's life. And who says we have to do it alone? And while I was figuring out this documentary's journey, I was in the shower, thinking about how no amount of research would truly give me comfort. In the end, it was all just words on a screen. And they say shower thoughts that bring about the best epiphanies. So it came to me. So I went to the only people that I believe could truly bring me some sort of comfort. People my age. First, I wanted to see what an existential crisis looked like in their perspective and what it was like. An existential crisis being the profound internal questioning of meaning, identity, purpose, and freedom. So I asked them.
Did you ever have issues with existential, thoughts?
I did. I did. Am I worthy of being alive?
I think I've had a lot of existential crises in my past where I kind of thought what's the point of this? I'm only one person out of billions on Earth. I'm having a good moment. I'm okay, how long is it gonna be before I fuck it up again?
Everything you're looking at might not be real. It just could be a movie. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the body is just a thing you're controlling, a little person in here controlling levers and shit.
I think I'm still definitely existential. I sort of just have these random moments where I just my eyes would go. I'd look around, I'd look at my arms and I'd be I can move and all that weird shit.
I'll be sitting somewhere that I used to enjoy, or just out in public somewhere where memories or whatever, and be what does anything actually mean? What does time mean? Why? I'll be sitting on the train going to school or going anywhere and be but why am I going?
When I say thinking about existence, what type of thoughts come up in your head?
Thoughts of the future, innit? What I'm gonna do with my life, the future of me.
Like, I'm always thinking about the future and everything that could possibly go wrong in the future.
I don't want to be 80 and say like, oh, I regret not doing this or that or whatever.
So I sort of period of OCD and had these really intrusive thoughts that I think sort of is a manifestation of existentialism in a way. You sort of don't know why things are going on.
One time when I was 4 years old, when I discovered that the universe would end eventually, that's what I would consider my biggest existential crisis. It was traumatizing when I saw that, when I was like, oh no, the universe is gonna end, what are we gonna do?
What are we going to do? And then you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do?
A big part of our existence is what we do with it. Like, why we were put on this earth. What's the point? What's the meaning? What is our purpose?
My purpose is I suppose what I make of it. You know, now I think your purpose probably changes over the course of your life.
Sometimes I feel like I was put on this earth to like help people is so cringe, but like be around people.
I mean, my purpose for myself is just to like live and like be able to like enjoy life.
I think my purpose is like I would like to live this world like right now we know what the issues are. I would like to help prevent these issues getting worse or like making the situation better for everyone.
My purpose in life is to find something I enjoy and do it for as much as I enjoy it.
Purpose can be, well, when it comes to life, it can be whatever you really want it to be.
I think my biggest thing that moves me forward is politics and values, because I truly believe that at its core everything is political.
I don't know. I sometimes feel like I don't have a purpose.
But regardless of whether you have a purpose or not, one thing is certain. We're all gonna die. Death. A concept that could be argued to have kick-started the existential movement itself, as people were forced to confront the human condition as a result of the horrors of world wars and the threat of nuclear war.
What do you believe happens after death?
I think there's nothing there. I'm not religious at all. I can feel faith because in me there's no feeling of beyond.
I think sort of your spirit, maybe, or something about your soul goes somewhere. I perceive it as, what do you think of when you're asleep?
What do you think happens after death?
Nothing. Like, why are you thinking the end when you could be thinking of what you're doing now?
Do you fear death?
If you know that this life is limited, it's not infinite, then you will make the most out of it, probably.
I think death is what gives life meaning to me.
Death makes us think about the end. When facing it, we begin to find ourselves. And it is at this point in our development when we get lost in our own identities. Or at least in the attempt to find it.
Each year I like something different, and then I look back and I'm like, ew, how did I like that? But like, it's just part of growth, you know, like finding your own identity and being able to define like who you are.
Like, honestly, I would never wear a skirt. It interiorized misogyny, interiorized homophobia and whatnot, and it's like, it frustrates me a lot. It is not real.
It's impossible for everyone to like me. Like, there's always going to be someone that has something to say about me or doesn't like me. So I'd rather like stay true to myself and have people that dislike me than be fake and still have people that dislike me. There's never going to be a point in your life where you're fully going to know yourself. Like, I'm constantly questioning myself. I'm constantly changing one thing or another about myself. Teenage years are arguably like the most difficult.
Like, puberty is the place you become like a social animal. Your own aesthetic sense is also influenced by the popular opinion and also your own experience. You might be happier following your own true sense, but sometimes your own true sense deceives you.
A lot of things that limit you in life is like, what are they gonna think? Or like, in Spanish, el que dirán. Live how you wanna live. Like, don't live for others.
You have to conform. You can't just be completely non-conformist, because then no one will like you.
And just as I thought I could miraculously fix my own crisis, I began to spiral. Knowing that others teenagers feel this way didn't bring me any comfort, but instead made me upset by how taboo it's become. I feel like no one should have to deal with feeling lost alone. I felt like I should do more to help. So I got to work. And I researched, and I drafted, and I cried, and I laughed until it was finally ready. And with all the words of the wisdom of Albert Camus still ringing in my head, I came up with my own guidelines to living a life in the face of overshadowing meaningless. And I call it, A for absurdism, A for authenticity, and A for awareness. Absurdism. Just think about it. Life is crazy. To me, absurdism implies that whether or not life has meaning is insignificant. And to that, you must dance in the face of mystery and embrace the freedom of humanity to its fullest potential. After all, you are alive. It's your life. Live it. Authenticity. With this newly found freedom, now you must choose what to do with it. I used to live a lie, pretending to be someone else to fit what I thought others expected of me. You are unique. Be yourself. And of course, it comes with time and effort. Find your purpose. Do what you believe is morally right and wrong, and stay true to your own values. Balance your ego with your empathy, and find harmony within your own being. Awareness. Once you begin to identify these certain feelings and issues towards existing, it can almost be impossible to ignore them, or switch them off. I know that because once I began truly enjoying life, I began to obsessively question when it could end. Acknowledge and address this. Avoidance is never healthy, and in moments of struggle and pain, just know, every experience helps create the person you are today. To make you feel better, here's some advice from people who are actually going through all the societal pressures you're probably feeling right now.
Just keep on living, bro, because things are going to change, your mentality is going to change. Like, sometimes you're going to feel better, sometimes you're going to feel worse, but like, you just got to keep on going, you know?
You should enjoy slowly.
If you learn to kind of like understand problems structurally rather than like individually, then you'll start to realize that it's not you or your mind that's the problem, but that there's so many factors that play a role in making it difficult to exist in like society.
Don't run away from things, because facing away from the problem won't fix the problem. Things will change, good will come, and even though you can't see it in the moment, like, it will come.
Who cares what those tattoos will look like in 30 years? If I can enjoy them now, then I won't give a fuck when I'm older, really. Just enjoy life as much as possible. Realise, how lucky you are to be alive.
Say no to drugs and stay in school. That's a very important.
The world that has made you feel this way can be a way to make other people not feel what you're feeling now in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was a really bad phrase.
Be patient. Impatience is not good. Everything will puzzle on its own. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of progress, but you will get there.
The hour of Jubilee is near. Let all debts be forgiven and all slaves be freed.
And to that, I say, here, we exist. In a moment that no one else has ever experienced. So I sit here, and I smile. I appreciate the freedom, and I've started feeling better, more control, more me. I've started feeling the intensity of motion, whether that be the highs or the lows. We are all just humans, and we are all just here. And I bask in the opportunity to live in a moment that I'm able to live in. This is my coming of age story. This is our coming of age story.